We've had some really cold, freezing weather this week. Not at all what last April was like, if you can remember, but fortunately Monday seems like it's warming up. Still, we have a weekend ahead of us and we have weather and temperatures going down to 0. And while we can stay warm and tucked up inside and maybe throw on a couple of jumpers, our tender plants, our spring crops are outside dealing with this. And although a lot of them are hardy, we have a combination of cold, potential frost, wind, and hail that can damage leaves and burn them off. And so what we need to do is to protect our crops using a number of ways so that they make it through the cold and into proper spring that hopefully returns next week. A couple of weeks ago, I chatted to you about starting your early potatoes. Now, if you've planted them and they're under the soil, they'll be safe. But if you've planted them even earlier and there's foliage above the ground, that foliage can get really damaged by frost. So if you see it coming up out of the ground right now, what you'll need to do is earth up those leaves, either with soil or compost. And what that will do is protect those leaves from being burnt off by frost. And they'll just continue growing and push right up through that soil in no time. Rows of young plants and even entire raised beds can be protected by a layer of horticultural fleece, and you just spread it out over the beds or over the plants, and it will protect them from all sorts, the wind, the cold, frost, hail, you name it. And if that fleece is over hoops, that even gives taller plants a bit of space and they won't be weighed down by anything that lands on the fleece. Now, if you don't have fleece on hand, you can still protect individual plants with some homemade plant protection. For example, a large plastic drinks bottle, you can cut off either end and then you can fit that over your plant and it creates a small greenhouse. If you don't have drinks bottles, you can also use a weighed down cardboard box. You place that over your plant, put a brick on top, and then leave it there to protect it temporarily. And then remove the box after a day or two when you know that it's safe. And you can also use a layer of straw or hay using the same kind of idea that that material protects the plant temporarily and then you remove it. Plants need light though, so you need to definitely remove the hay, straw, and box within a day or two at most. If your plants are in pots, you can also just move those plants into a greenhouse or under protection. And if you don't have a greenhouse, just push those pots right up against the house because the temperature around your house, right against the outside wall, is a lot warmer than even a few feet out from it. If you have been hardening off plants, which is a very important step when you're growing seedlings and plants under cover, stop doing it when it's cold like this. Just keep the plants protected, and then when it starts warming up again, begin hardening them off again. And then lastly, if you were thinking about sowing any seeds outside this weekend or planting anything out, just wait. They'll have a much better chance if you just wait until warmer weather comes back.